Hey everybody, this is Matt.
And this is Greg, and this is Record Mashup. Thank you for tuning in this week and listening to us. If you haven't already, if you can press the subscribe button on whatever service you're listening to, whether it's Castbox, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We also have a YouTube channel so you can see our uncut videos instead of our edited audios. And we also have an Instagram and Facebook, and you can catch us at Record Mashup. We also have an email if you would like to email us with any questions, comments, any recommendations, just your thoughts at recordmashup@gmail.com. Anyways, Matt, what do we got in store for this week?
This week our theme is birthdays. It's both Greg's wife's birthday is coming up, my birthday is coming up, my wife's birthday is coming up. Greg's birthday was not too long ago, so it just made sense. Let's throw in the middle and have a birthday theme. So anyway, that's our theme today, birthdays. And for my song, I picked the song Birthday by the Beatles. Greg, what song did you pick?
I picked January 28th by J. Cole because that is his birthday. Most of the song doesn't rely on the theme of birthday until the very end, so bear with me while I go through the actual song and tie it all in at the very end.
Sounds great.
All right, well, let's get into it. So J. Cole released January 28th. It's the second song off his third album, 2014, Forest Hill Drive. It's my favorite album of his. Love every song on it. I think it's his best one. But that's just my personal opinion. Anyways, getting into the song. Starts off with it actually took the beat from a Japanese song, and they had some issues actually getting the beat for the song to be cleared through wherever they need to do to use the beat for it. It's actually a Japanese song called Sky Restaurant. So props to them for letting J. Cole use this. It went perfect with the song.
Yeah,
and that's actually one of my fun facts because it's called out later in the album that thanks for whoever in Japan helped to do that, and it's one of the things that they had an issue with for the song to allow that.
Yeah, I actually saw where apparently whoever the folks in Japan are didn't actually clear it until 7 hours before the album was supposed to be released. Talk about cutting it close.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so getting into it, at the very beginning of the song is just the intro. It talks about rap tune, can I make $1 million off a rap tune? Just kind of thinking like that person who's thinking of the rags to riches type thing, like what can I do to make that $1 million? So we'll discuss it throughout the song that he kind of says that's a stupid idea basically throughout the song at some points. And throughout his music, he kind of says that too, like the rags to riches thing is kind of dumb. But I'll get into that. Anyways, verse 1, the real is back, the Ville is back. So he's from Lafayetteville, North Carolina. North Carolina? Yeah. And he's also got a record label called Dreamville. So he's just saying the Ville is back. So he's back from Lafayette, however you want to take that. His record label is back out. This is the fourth album, I believe, released by his record label and Rock Nation, who is owned by Jay-Z, which he calls out later in the song as well. And then, so his next line goes to flow bananas here, peel this back. So you have to peel the banana back to actually eat it. So you have to kind of peel his lyrics away to ingest them basically. But they're so great that it can even paint a picture to a blind person going into that, can paint a picture that is vivid enough to cure blindness. So saying that his lyrics are very powerful, basically.
Yeah.
Anyways, Carolina's Finest, you already knew. In terms of the greatest, proved that already. And if you'd like, I do it twice. So he's just basically saying how great he is. And then keeping that going for people that were tossed in graves every so often fade deep in thought. So just talking about friends that I used to have back in the day that maybe died, passed away, whether it's due to violence or just like normal causes, whatever it may be, just kind of reminiscing on those times. And then how they used to play before their coffin was made and things like that. Just kind of a little bit of a darker tone on that one. And sorry for that. I know birthdays are usually supposed to be happy, but he's just kind of reminiscing on past times. But to bring that into light, he does go into the next one. Just got paid what Cochran got paid to free OJ. So John Cochran, if you don't remember, was a lawyer for OJ Simpson when he had his murder trial. OJ got off not guilty, and Cochran got paid quite a bit of money for that. So he's just saying that he's just as rich as Cochran back then. So
$50,000 a day.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I would take that kind of money any day.
So and then the last part of this is my favorite part of the first verse. So it goes to just to share my life on stage in front of strangers who knows him too well, and that's the danger. So depending on where you look this up or how you interpret it, he's basically saying that people who listen to his music, who are his fans, who are seeing him on stage and everything, know him better than he knows himself. And he says in the next line, "Know me better than I know myself." Rip on page out the notebook in anger and let these thoughts linger. So he's just kind of sad that other people know him better than he knows himself, and he doesn't really know where he's like fitting, basically.
Yeah.
And I love the chorus of the song as well. So don't give them too much. Don't let them take control. It's one thing you do. Don't let them taint your soul. If you believe in God, one thing that's for sure. If you ain't aim too high, then you aim too low. So the start of that is saying, don't let other people tell you what to do, basically. So within the music industry or the entertainment industry in general, a lot of people kind of get dictated on what they're going to do, and they kind of let other people make decisions for them. He's basically saying, don't do that. Like, take control of your own life. And sure, you can use help and kind of get directed by people, but like, if you're not enjoying it, if it doesn't meet your goals, then there's no point. And he clarifies that at the very end of the chorus with, if you ain't aim too high, then you aim too low. With, if your standards or your goals, wherever they may be, aren't high enough, then there's no point with it, and you're aiming too low. You're not meeting your potential of what you can do or what you can be. So I love the chorus for that song.
And it's interesting. When you first started talking about not letting them take control in the music industry, it made me wonder. I just looked it up. J. Cole does own all of his masters. So
yeah,
he has resumed control of his artistic or creative artistry.
Yeah, and he started off with just being signed by Jay-Z and then starting his own label, and like this CD is co-owned by his label and Rock Nation, and I think there's another one in there. So he has a lot of control over his stuff, and he's built a lot of control over other artists' songs, but still gives them the leeway to do what they can do as well. So he's definitely built himself up.
Nice.
All right, getting into the second verse. This one's kind of a downer too. So this song, or the CD, I think came out after the Michael Brown case and Ferguson, and back when like a lot of, I mean, we're still having these issues with the race issues and Black Lives Matter protests, or wherever protest it is. This came out just shortly after one of those events. So a lot of the places I was looking up what meanings to this were saying that this is related to Ferguson and Michael Brown, but others were just saying that it's just an in general thought, basically. But starts off, what's a price for a black man life? A check toe tag, not a zero in sight. So basically, a black man's life is worthless, is what he's saying here. So if you have no zeros in sight on a tag, it's single digits. It's pretty much neglected. And then he turns on TV, not a hero in sight unless you dribble or fiddle with mics. So basically, if it's not a basketball player, football player, or a rapper, like there's no other black heroes. And I think that's not true, and it is true at the same time. So obviously there's plenty of like black heroes, like you could say Barack Obama, he's half. black, half white, and then you could say like Nelson Mandela or any of these other like past historical people like Martin Luther King. But nowadays, those type of people don't get brought up in the media, so the heroes that should be out there are not portrayed in the media. So the media doesn't give the right attention to the right people.
Yeah, I was going to say too, I was jumping to actors, but I don't know, that almost just kind of falls into the same genre that he's getting at here, just the idea of entertainment, right? I mean, that's basically what sports and movies and everything are. They're all entertainment. So it kind of falls still into that kind of large category that he's discussing.
Yeah. So just an example of like someone who could be a black hero or something like that is you could take like Colin Powell or someone like that. But I was listening to a podcast. I don't know. This is probably about a year ago. I didn't even know this company existed, but it's a black-owned cell phone company. It's called Figures. And this guy just started it up on his own, and it's pretty successful. And I haven't purchased anything from them, but you can get cell phone plans and stuff like that. So if you're into black-owned companies, you can check that out and see if you like it or anything. But those type of heroes, I think, are the thing that he's really focusing in on here, like self-made, like businessmen, or like
business leaders, exactly,
or whatever, or politicians, or whatever they may be.
Yep.
Then getting into the next couple lines, look out the window because tonight's city lit up with lights, camera action. May no man come across through and damage my faction. He basically just saying don't let anyone taint his name. And the next one is he loves everyone like his brothers, and your mother's like my mother. So just treating everyone like the same. We don't need like these complications between each other and arguments. So like you can dislike someone, but you don't need to go have these heated arguments or like killing people and things like that out there. And that's kind of the same line for the next part. Think we need a plan of action. The bigger we get, the more likely egos collide. It's just physics. So egos are colliding, relating that to physics. Should our worst tendencies turn to enemies. So one of the things I saw on Genius was an interpretation of them talking about like the Crips and Bloods, who are always feuding, but there's no real reason for them to be feuding, basically, and trying to kill each other or whatnot. Anyways, taking a switch here, he goes to, I hope that we remember these nights full of Hennessy when hove around. We switch up to I want to say it's Duse. I forget how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't know how you say that.
Gotta show respect. One day we trying to stay where you stay. So this is shout out to everyone in the rap industry, like especially in the 90s and maybe the late 80s, were all about Hennessy. And Jay-Z, who one of his names is Hove, if you're not familiar with Jay-Z, he I'm just gonna call it Duce. He made that brand, and it's a brand basically like Hennessy, but it's his brand. And it probably was signed by Jay-Z, so he's giving a shout out to Jay-Z on this. Yeah. Were you saying something, Matt?
No, it's all right. Go on. You made my point.
All right. All right. So he's giving the shout out to Jay-Z, and then he switches up again. Because you're from where you're from, not talking about the slums. I'm talking about the mind state that keeps someone dumb and keeps them back. Keeps them held back, basically. That he's kind of focusing in on like studies or just the systemic racism, I guess, would be the type of what I'm trying to say. Basically, that like so someone who's black is maybe more likely to be in percentage wise of the population of black people are probably more be in like low income housing or something like that, and then or in like drug related crimes or something like that. I don't have the statistics, so I'm just kind of talking here, so don't quote me on this. I don't have the statistics and facts to back that up, but that's kind of what he's quoting on, that they're kind of being kept in this mind state or this like life because of how they're born and what they grow up in, and they don't see a way out, basically.
Right.
And then next, going into him living in New York and being New York's best, like New York's finest, and that no one's ever going to reach his level because he's so high up there that Obama's going to need Air Force One to find it. So this is back when Obama was president. And then he says, actually, never mind, you'll never reach that. So he's saying no one can be better than him, basically. And Cole's a hypnotist, control the game whenever he snap. That's every track. So he's the best, basically. From there, we get back into the chorus. So don't aim too high. Or if you ain't aim too high, then you aim too low. So make sure you aim high. Keep your goals and values high. Verse 3 is pretty straightforward and short. So he ain't served no pies, ain't selling no dope, ain't bring no lies. People sing his quotes. Don't play no games. He ain't no joke. So not serving pies or dope. Basically, he's not serving like weed, cocaine, drugs, anything like that. He made it in this game differently than what other people say, whether it's a lie or whether they really did it. And then he goes into calling out a lot of great rappers. So like the great Rakim, when I make my notes, or he's talking about Big L, Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick, Drake, Kendrick Lamar. It's calling out all these people who he thinks are great and who have been called great by other people. And telling them to actually check the birth date, because if it's not January 28th, basically, then you're not good. Like J. Cole's the best because January 28th is his birthday. Which actually gets me to some of my fun facts about the song. So Rakim, his birthday is actually on January 28th. So basically he's saying Rakim's like one of the rap gods out there, and himself, J. Cole, is the rap god of today's rap industry. Which I thought was a good little
yeah. I saw where Rick Ross's birthday is also.
Yep, Rick Ross is also. And my second throwback, so this is why everything's tying back into birthdays. So that was a little bit of a heavier song. That's a lot of J. Cole's songs are like that. I think it's got a good message overall, but we'll bring it back to birthdays because that's what the theme is today. And Jay-Z, who signed him on his Black album, I believe it was, his second song on the album also was called December 4th, which was Jay-Z's birthday. And he rapped about similar things like this, where he kind of talked about his life. So reading through some of the websites and everything, everyone was just saying this kind of throwback to Jay-Z. Also, because it's January 28th and he's calling himself the rap god, it's a throwback to Rakim and saying how great Rakim is as a rapper as well. So
there's also, I'm Googling this now. There's a rapper called Aka. I guess that's how you say it.
I haven't heard of them.
He is from South Africa.
Ooh,
but his birthday.
Probably why I did hear of him.
Yeah. Well, he was voted best hip hop and best male of 2012 in South Africa.
How you spell AKKA?
Just AKA. But anyway, his birthday, January 28th. So he's clearly the rap god of South Africa. Yeah. There you go.
Maybe I'll have to check this guy out. I know there's maybe, you know what? He might be on my there's this YouTube channel I listen to called Colors, and there's a lot of like German or South African people on there. And I like the YouTube channel. It's got a lot of good like remakes or like just songs on there. It's just artists like doing their song in a specifically colored room.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. If you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube.
Will do.
Anyways, Matt, let's see. I just need to check if there's any other facts I have. I already went over the fact about the background music being that Japanese song. Already went over the birthdays. Think though this wasn't a single released by the CD, so it did not chart. However, the album did chart number 1. So pretty popular album, 3 times platinum. And if you haven't heard it, go check it out. But this was probably my second favorite song on the album. So it is very good.
Nice. Cool. Well, do you want to jump into Birthday by the Beatles?
Yeah, go for it, Matt.
Let's do it. Now, this is going to be a really short synopsis because I think we can summarize the lyrics down to like half a dozen lines. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, so the song simply called Birthday by the Beatles. If you don't know who the Beatles are, you clearly have been living under a rock. But anyway, it's off of their album, which is technically called The Beatles, but is more commonly called the White Album. If you've never seen a picture of it, it's a white album. Yeah, it's all white. Anyway, but the song was written by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. It was likely inspired. I got a few random facts for you guys. It was likely inspired by the 1950s hit called Happy Birthday Baby by the Toon Weavers. Never heard the song, but I like the name, Happy Birthday Baby. And interestingly, Greg, I don't know if you saw this, but it was written in the studio in one day. Let me rephrase that. Written and recorded in one day.
I think I read somewhere that this was also the last one that John Lennon and Paul McCartney actually wrote together.
Yeah, I think I saw that too.
Or one of the last ones.
I think that's somewhat disputed, but yes, I did see that.
Because what I read was that a lot of their songs, even after this, were still said written by Lennon and McCartney, but they weren't actually written together.
Yeah, and I think part of it too, I was reading a little bit about this. Part of it too is, comes down to how do you define co-writing, right? So my understanding from the very little bit of research I did before we recorded this is that like one of them would come to the studio with most of the song written, and then the other would perhaps suggest a line or, perhaps come up with like a lick or something for the song. But then they would both give each other credit, even though one or the other may have carried kind of more weight in writing the song, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I guess the general takeaway is, I guess it's kind of nuanced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in any event, so they were in the recording studio, and it was funny. This particular day that they were recording it, which was September 18th, 1968, they had gone into the studio knowing that they wanted to leave to go back to Paul's house to watch a movie called The Girl Can't Help It. It was apparently some movie from the 50s that it was the first time being shown on British TV, and they all wanted to go watch it. So they're working in the studio, and then they're like, oh, no, we got to go watch this movie. So they all leave the studio, run around the block to Paul's house, watch this movie, and then they come back to the studio to finish cutting the song. Kind of interesting. But anyway, so as I say, it was recorded on September 18th. Now, going back to this conversation we were just having about writing the song, Paul McCartney claims that it was a 50-50 effort between him and John Lennon. Chris Thomas, who was George Martin's assistant, and if you don't know who George Martin is, George Martin was the famous music producer that was involved on pretty much all of the Beatles albums, claims that it was mostly written by Paul. So who knows? There is a quote that we'll get to it when we talk about to summarize the song, but there is a quote by John that seems to suggest that he probably didn't have too much involved in the song. Just my read into it, but we'll see.
Lyrics wise, there's not too much to the song, so
no, there's
gotta be mostly musical that they contributed to it.
Yeah. Well, I do think I did read that Paul came up with the guitar riff. So But in any event, so basically the lyrics are it's someone's birthday, and it's his birthday too, which I assume Paul's the one singing, so I'm assuming they're referring to Paul's birthday. They're gonna have a good time. They're gonna party. They want to dance. Then there's this line. This is the one part that they say they want to take a chance. I'm not really sure what they're taking a chance on. I'm not sure. We talk. Here's where we get to interpret a little bit. Uh, if you've got someone else's birthday and it's his birthday too, if there's someone else is a girl, maybe they want to take a chance on each other, take a chance dancing with her. I'm not really sure how
Yeah,
to read
maybe
that
like
one.
taking a chance, like asking them to dance, because it does say, I would like you to dance, take a chance, I would like you to dance. So maybe like take a chance and dance with me.
Yeah, but I think it could be broader than that too. It's like because like back in the day, right? Asking someone to dance with you is almost like the equivalent of like asking someone on a date.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I didn't grow up then, so who knows what the norm was. Anyway, uh, that's pretty much it lyrically. So it's a they're having a birthday, they're gonna have a good time, they're partying, they're dancing, and that's the song. But there are a couple interesting things. There are some kind of, if you listen to the song, there's some echo vocals in the background. Those were sung by Yoko Ono and Patty Harrison. If you don't know who Yoko Ono was, she was, I guess, did her and John ever actually get married?
I thought they did. Yeah. 1959, it looks like.
Okay. All
That's
right.
what
Yeah.
Wikipedia says. So trust that with a grain of salt. I don't know. It's usually good on dates like that.
Yeah. And then, of course, Patty Harrison being the wife of George Harrison.
Yeah.
So just kind of an interesting tidbit there that their wives were doing some of the background vocals. The other thing too, and I listened for this, I couldn't hear it, but if you listen really carefully, or maybe if you're able to isolate some of the sound waves in the song, you can actually hear Paul counting 8 measures in the middle of the song for some kind of break. And supposedly this was going to be a placeholder for a solo that would be added in later. But when they went back and played the track, they liked the simple drum beat so much that they just left it. So anyway, it's kind of interesting. And then my last random fact for you is supposedly when recording this, George Harrison was wearing a thin glove on his left hand because he was apparently getting blisters. So, random fact of the day. George Harrison wore a glove when recording Birthday.
He's taken after Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Or Michael Jackson took after him, probably.
Oh, maybe.
Anyway, so that's pretty much it to the song. It's probably one of our shortest analyses of a song ever. But anyway, so I made allusion to this earlier about how John Lennon supposedly said something that made me at least think that he didn't write the song. But he was basically quoted as saying that he thought this song was a, quote, piece of garbage. He didn't like it. So that just leads me to think that, he's sitting there calling it a piece of garbage. I highly doubt he wrote it, even though he gets some song credit.
I don't know, because like the guys from Guns N' Roses, like Slash and them, like they hate I think it's Welcome to the Jungle. I think that's the song. I mean, they wrote that.
True.
So
I do
make
think
a song just to make some money, throw it out there or something, doesn't mean you have to like it.
Yeah. I do think that there's many artists who get sick of playing their hits. Like, I think that's a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, of course, the Beatles weren't together that long. Who knows? Maybe he got sick of hearing it played back even after
together
they broke up.
kind of long.
Well, no, I meant, not compared to like some groups.
Yeah, I guess, because how long?
I mean, they were only active for 10 years. They broke up in 70.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So
They just had a lot of albums.
Yeah. But anyway, I couldn't find any chart history on this song. I don't think it was released as a single. It was on the White Album, which had a ton of songs on it. But Paul McCartney did release a solo version of the song after the Beatles broke up, which peaked at number 35 in the US, number 29 in the UK, and number 3 in Italy.
Yep.
So,
That's the same one I got.
yep. And that's all I got. I like this song. I think I love playing in a rock band. I don't know if have you ever played Beatles Rock Band, Greg?
So I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say an unpopular opinion.
You don't
I
like Rock
never
Band?
had Beatles Rock Band, and I think the Beatles are overrated.
I disagree.
So while I say that they're overrated, it doesn't mean that I don't like their music.
Okay.
I do like their music. I just think a lot of people kind of toot their horn a little bit more than I think it deserves. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm not going
Yeah.
to say that they're not a great band because they obviously are a great band. I would just say maybe a band like Queen, for instance, is better. But that's just my opinion.
Well,
Not
I think it's different. It's different times too. Right? I mean, the Beatles were the '60s.
yeah.
Um,
I would say the Temptations were better. But that's just my opinion. That's also the music I grew up with. So I didn't
yeah.
actually listen to the Beatles until maybe I was like in college.
I think it's just well, they're obviously different music genres. But I also think I don't know. The Beatles were the first real boy band, and I think from a cultural perspective, I think they're incredibly influential in that aspect. Of course, there's the whole British Revolution and all that stuff. I guess along with I guess they're probably the better equation would be them versus the Rolling Stones, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would still put Queen kind of close to that because I mean they're still British and uh, they were around the same time, maybe a
Yeah.
little bit later, right?
So yeah, I'm looking this up now. British invasion.
But
The British invasion is technically considered to be like the 50s, 60s, and early 70s.
okay,
Um,
yeah. See,
I'll look this
obviously
up
I'm
beforehand.
not a British invasion professional.
Yeah, I mean, you do get they do talk about bands that came in late 70s, early 70s. That's when you start getting into the Rolling Stones, the Animals. Queen is not showing up in this article,
They
but
started in 1970, so
yeah. Okay, so this is the first British invasion. Apparently, there was a second British invasion,
okay,
which came in from the 70s and 80s, and that's where you get Queen.
gotcha.
So,
Oh,
so yeah. So I guess Queen kind of
today
falls
you
into the
learned.
second. Yeah, interesting.
Got
But
any other
anyway,
fun facts, Matt?
now they're very different. I don't think these songs have a lot in common.
Nope. There's the Beatles who want everyone to have a good birthday, and then there's J. Cole who's just kind of tooting his own horn like I'm the best. Come at me. You weren't
Yeah,
born in this day. The only person can compare Rakim and Rick Ross.
yeah. Well, I think
But
musically they're vastly different too. You've got a rock song versus kind of I don't know, a song with a Japanese background. I
yeah,
don't, I don't know how else to describe it.
yeah. I mean, the different genres, different perspectives. Like the 50s versus what that CD came out 10 years ago or whatever.
Yeah,
So 50s versus 2010. Rap versus actually rap wasn't even around when the Beatles were around.
true.
Rap,
Yeah,
I
that's a
mean,
good point.
like late 60s, early 70s was when kind of disco, DJing and like Grandmaster Flash type things, like Sugar Hill Gang were starting out and then started to make music, and that's kind of how rap started. So
Yeah.
completely different eras.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's a good point. I hadn't even thought about it from that aspect, but yeah, absolutely. So, all right, Greg. Well, what do we got lined up for next week?
Well, next week, I believe we have our Halloween theme.
Yeah.
So, with that, I will be discussing Thriller by Michael Jackson. Perfect Halloween song. Matt, what you got?
I am going to do Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac.
Ooh, I'm so
Love that
excited
song.
for that.
It's going to be a good episode. I'm really excited about this one.
I'm just excited because we got Michael Jackson on here twice now because we had the Jackson 5 that you discussed, and now I'll be talking about a Michael Jackson song. So
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
It's like we're covering his whole lifetime from the time as a kid to his solo career. It's going to be awesome. Anyway,
so
thank you all for listening.
Before we end, though, I was just trying to look up some people with like some birthdays today, and let's see the famous people I'm getting. There's a Toby Mac, if you know who he is, and
yes.
Let's see, 21 Savage. Jeff Goldblum is 68 today.
Wow! Happy birthday, Jeff.
Oh man, yeah. Sorry, I figured I'd just figure out who. Oh, Christopher Lloyd is 82.
We should also see whose birthday is tomorrow when this will be released. Let's see here. Let's find somebody real quick.
Man, yeah, there's a lot of people.
We're gonna have to. We have got to edit
birthday.
out this.
Oh, it looks like Ryan Reynolds has a birthday tomorrow. Happy pre-birthday, Ryan Reynolds.
Weird Al turns 60 tomorrow, Greg.
Whoa. That dude's old. I remember him like in his 30s way back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I'm seeing on a quick glance. I mean, there's lots of people I've never heard of, but
Martin Luther King III, his birthday's tomorrow.
Yep.
He's going to be 62. Anyways, most of these people that are popping up on this thing are TikTok stars. I don't even know how you're a TikTok star. Like, whatever. All right, Matt. You got anything else for this podcast this week?
No, I think I'm good. We'll, if you haven't checked this out on YouTube, check us out there, or social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And most importantly, be sure to hit the subscribe button wherever you listen. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.